Award watch list. The Outstanding Place Kicker Award is provided to the nation's top collegiate place kicker among more than 750 FCS Division II, Division III, NAIA, and NJCAA football teams. He was a member of the Southern Conference All-Freshman team last season after hitting 9 out of 12 field goals and was 22 of 23 on PATs. Sam Jordan, News Talk 92.7 Action Sports Now.
Nuga Radio.
Are you brain dead? Still voting for pathetic liberals? Take 3 hours of Sean Hannity from 3 to 6.
Nuga Radio.
Then call us in the morning between 9 and 11.
92.7
Nuga Radio.
Good morning, good people in the city of Chattanooga. It's another beautiful day here. Y'all know what it is. It's Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show. I'm taking it from the streets to City Hall, from City Hall to the mayor's office. We're going to have to talk about the police department today. Oh, man. Y'all know what it is. From the valley low to the mountaintop, giving you guys a bird's eye view to what's going on here in the city of Chattanooga. I'm hyped today because it's a lot to talk about. Because it's a lot going on. I don't know if you guys read the paper. I don't know if you guys tune in, how you guys get information about what's going on in the city of Chattanooga. But that's what my job is if you can't afford the newspaper, if maybe you can't afford EPB or whatever, I'll try to pass the information along to you. This is a relationship. I say all the time that my show is like sitting down at the dinner table with family, because I am your family. I'm your neighbor. I'm your friend. I'm not just somebody screaming at the mic to you. I'm somebody just talking to you passionately and intentionally about what's going on here in the city of Chattanooga. All right. Y'all know what it is. The call in is always the same. 800-8949, 800-8949. If you want to call and chop it up with me, we're streaming live on Facebook, my personal Facebook, the station's Facebook, Nuga Radio 92.7 FM, as well as YouTube. If you can't call in, do not hesitate to drop a comment. Interact with us. We love you. All right, let's get into it. So I got the article on yesterday, but the apparent situation happened on Sunday. And y'all, people are always talking about, Marie, how long are you going to talk about the police department? Well, I'll give you an answer to that question right now. I'm going to keep talking about the police department until we get a mayor and a city council that decides to cut their budget in half and distribute that amongst the community. Or we get a police chief and a sheriff with a backbone that's going to put these officers in check if it's even possible. I'm to the belief that I don't even know if it's possible. I don't know if it's possible. People keep telling me about these good police officers, and I'm telling you, where are they? Because even if there are good ones out there, I want you to listen to me. If you're a good police officer, I'm talking to you right now. If you're a good police officer, can you explain to me? Please call in 800-8949 or drop a comment. Please explain to me in plain English. If you are a good brother or sister wearing blue with CPD, how is it that you go to work every single day and you continue to see that one instance after another where the CPD is terrorizing people in the community? Now, the intention was to talk about on the first half of this segment the difference between a constitutional republic and a democracy, because we think we're a democracy, and that was never the intent of our government, was to hand over our personal civil liberties in the hopes or the dreams that maybe possibly sort of kinda we would hopefully be treated equally. The democracy that we say that we have, or that we've been conditioned to believe that we have, has yet to work. And tell me why it has yet to work. Well, I could just look at the police department here locally and see that it does not work for me. That in every single way, either the goal is to either ticket me or lock me up. Where is the good police officers and the good interaction that I should come to expect with police? Now, Sunday, apparently a citizen And I can see how somebody could be suicidal living in the city of Chattanooga. You can't drive anywhere without driving past an increasing number of poor and homeless people. You can't go to any corner in the city of Chattanooga and not see somebody holding up a sign asking for food or water or a couple of dollars, white and black, by the way. It's not just black people begging for money. It's some poor white people out there begging for money too, needing help too. I'm driving by an increasing amount of my neighbors, your neighbors, who have nothing. But we give 52% of our operating budget as a city to the Chattanooga Police Department, who is not helping us. I can see how anybody could be suicidal and see that there is no hope in this city. I ain't heard jack from the mayor yet. Burke, where are you? I need some of his staff members. If you're listening, I need you to tell Burke to give me a call at 800-8949 and explain to me why he has yet to answer to any of the problems here in the city of Chattanooga, because now I didn't vote for Burke. I didn't vote at all, unfortunately, because I'm tired of having to choose between evil and evil, people who ain't doing nothing and other people who ain't doing nothing in my city anyways. I didn't vote for Burke, but he won. And I talked about it yesterday on my personal Facebook page. It's regardless of who voted for who or not, when you got that winning number, you were hired to represent the people. And it's not about you. It's not about just your vision for the city of Chattanooga. It's about the people. What do the people need? And what can I provide for the people? Because they pay me their taxes. What can I give back to the community and in investment that's going to push this city forward for the long term? Because a lot of the decisions and the choices that we make as a city are so short term. They're for the now. And I know a listener out there, somebody is listening. You got a niece or a nephew or a cousin or a daughter or a son or a grandchild who may decide to stay here for the rest of their life. And what have we left them? That's the whole point in hopefully getting older, growing in wisdom, is that you leave something behind for the next generation. We're so focused on the right now satisfaction that's really not even working. Are the people satisfied? Are you satisfied? I want y'all to call and talk to me. Are you satisfied with stepping over poor people and seeing more poor people? Are you satisfied with that? But the man was suicidal. Somebody called the Chattanooga Police Department. And let's be real. Don't shuck and jive with me. Let's be real. When the police showed up, they probably hopped out of the car because the man had a gun pointed to his head. They probably hopped out of the car with their guns drawn. I can almost guarantee. And especially with where the neighborhood is, this neighborhood that this happened in. Oh yeah, without question. Now, I'm not a mental health expert, but I can stand firm in this. The way to de-escalate a person is to not frustrate them or upset them even more than they already are. I've learned a great lesson from my grandmother. The best way to help people through their problems is just to talk to them in a sweet, in a gentle, in a caring and concerned voice. Like this. Brother, no, I see you with that gun to your head. Are you having a bad day? How can I help you? What's wrong? Can you talk to me? Get them to talk to you. You have to build that level of trust with people first, especially with a stranger. Huh? But let's be real. If we have police officers like the officers that they have in Nashville who will shoot people in the back, and even the ones that we have kind of locally like Saudi Daisy, which will shoot people through a windshield, can we agree that it's probably not likely that we're going to have any officers show up to the scene with a person with a gun, and in particular, if they're probably of color, and the objective is not going to be just to probably end up killing them anyway. Officers already have no patience. And for me, I don't understand why, because if you drive like I drive and go anywhere in the city, you're liable to not be able to go anywhere and not see them sitting in the middle of a parking lot. I don't even know what they be doing. Scratching their chest hairs, picking their boogers, sipping coffee. I don't even know. But you're liable just to see them chilling in an empty parking lot somewhere in the back of a parking lot, then walk in the community, talking to people, asking how they can help, unless it's for the next lip sync challenge. But the pull-up is not really what perplexes me about this case. What really perplexes me is that supposedly, and I'm saying this with quotations because I'm so speculative of any instance with the police and citizens here in the city of Chattanooga. I have no faith in anything that the police have to say. Their spokesperson who tried to sell us some BS, and I'm going to get to that in just a second. Now, supposedly, and I'm saying this with large quotations, supposedly the man kills himself, but the officers let off 3 shots after he supposedly committed suicide. And they hit the person, and then one of the bullets ricocheted and hit somebody else in the leg. Now, I'm scratching my head like really, really hard because I'm trying to figure out if a person shot themselves, probably because they're frustrated because you ain't telling them nothing but put down the gun and certainly not trying to help them. What would be the need to shoot at them 3 times if they already dead? I just want to ask the people a question because I see this stuff and to me it's stupid. It makes no sense. A person kills themselves and commits suicide, but the police officer shoots at them 3 times and then says it was an accident. Now, I don't know if any of my listeners shoot on a regular basis, have ever fired a weapon. I can almost guarantee you that the weapons for the Chattanooga Police Department, because that's a line item in the budget, they asked for increased ammunition, which I don't understand why you need ammunition increased in the first place if your whole point is to really serve the people. The objective shouldn't be to shoot them. But anyway, I don't understand how you accidentally squeeze a trigger 3 separate individual times. Now, I've owned guns from a 22, a 40 caliber, Glock 17, Glock 19, Glock 20, Sig Sauer. And I'm not trying to brag, but you don't want to pull up on me. I'm just saying. I've owned all types of guns. I've changed triggers on guns to an easier pulling trigger. I've customized weapons before. I don't understand how a standard issue police gun, which is 9 times out of 10, probably a Glock. And if you're a police officer, please call and correct me and let me know what your standard issue of weaponry is. But I can guarantee you, if they're asking for increased ammunition and getting line items in the city budget, they ain't asking for no cheap handguns. They probably got Glocks, I can almost imagine. How do you shoot somebody or shoot at somebody accidentally 3 times? Could I say as a citizen that if I fear for my safety and I tried shooting at a police officer 3 times, that it was an accident? Come on, are we that? We cannot be that. We cannot be that special. And I can't believe that the police department spokesperson would try to sell this and market this to the people. I'm tired of talking about the police department on my show. I really am. I'd rather talk about other issues that impact the people, but this is impacting us. And we went from Avery Gray's daughter getting pulled out of her mother's vehicle to Diana Watt getting pulled out of her vehicle to 2 women coming out with rape allegations against the police officer to supposedly a man committing suicide, but the police officer shot him after he committed suicide and fired off 2 additional rounds, and that was the accident. I'm struggling to understand. But I continue to talk about this to you, the people, the listener, my friend, my neighbor, because when I say that I look at so many citizens who do the work in the community, doulas who do the work, Why Be Normal, fatherly figure, Stephen Bedford, I Trap, I see so many people, Father to the Fatherless, Troy Rogers, Kevin Muhammad and the Nation of Islam, Hamilton County Black Caucus, Concerned Citizens for Justice, Caleb with the Community Bailout Fund, Apex, Unify Ed, COA. I see all of these community members doing work. And you know what? We do this out of our own wallets. Yeah, I'm talking to you because this is ridiculous. We have given $500 million to the Chattanooga Police Department in the last decade. And the expectation of our community getting better has never happened. And I continue to submit to you, the listener, that we cannot police our way out of these problems. We've tried it through the Violence Reduction Initiative for the last several years, and it has not worked. And shame on anybody who blamed Troy Rogers for that at the beginning of the year. It's not Troy's fault. That man did absolutely everything that he could. I know that for a fact. Everything that he could. And so do citizens you probably don't even know. People you go to the grocery store with, people I protest with, do so much work, never get recognized, and never get a dollar from the city budget to do any of the things that they do for the community. But we hand over our tax dollars time and time again with zero accountability from the mayor and the city council. We continue to hand over our tax dollars and allow it to happen. Because they sold to us, we can police our way out of the problem. It does not work. It doesn't work for the gangs. It doesn't work for the mental health. It doesn't work for the suicidal. It doesn't work on any platform. It doesn't work. You have to meet people where they are. You can't look down upon them and shame them for where they are. A lot of people just don't know. How do I know that they don't know? They came out of the same raggedy public school system that I came out of. I expect that they don't know. Let's be honest and be real. We didn't wake up and get here today. This has been a 30, 40 year plus work of undermining communities and undermining really and truly and intentionally the people. And I don't know about you, but at 30 years old, I am done. I'm done. Absolutely done. I'm tired of seeing people with no hope. No hope that Chattanooga has a future. No hope that we can get things accomplished. Or even if we try or we do, it's just us. It's just me and you. And the truth of the matter is it is. It's just me and you. You can't accidentally shoot somebody 3 times. Either you could try to help them or your intent was never to help them. Now, I'm not going to blame it totally on the police department if the man ultimately decided to end his life. But I will say, I guarantee you they didn't pull up with the means of really and truly trying to patiently help this person. And I can definitely say that we're probably going to have a lot more instances like this if we continue to go on the trajectory that we're on. We got out of the educational business in 1997 for the city. And it's been downhill ever since. We focus more on overdeveloping the downtown area than investing in education and investing in organizations that are truly and really doing the nitty-gritty community work, and then pointed fingers at the same people who doing the work. Oh, man. Talk to me, man. You only got a couple of seconds.
Thank God you're there, Maria. I've been fighting this battle 47 years, and you said it's just us. That's the justice we get, just us, because they're not there. You know, they did a show on saving your money legally, unconstitutionally in the last hour, and that's where government is. They think everything is theirs. It's just us on our own. That's what just us is.
It's just me. It's just us here on the Marie Mott Show. Y'all stay tuned for the second half of this first half of the segment.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Chattanooga police say an officer unintentionally fired his department-issued firearm 3 times, hitting a person who had just committed suicide. The incident happened Sunday morning. Police spokesperson says officers arrived telling the person who was acting suicidal to put down the gun. The person shot and killed themselves. According to the CPD release, the officer then accidentally fired 3 rounds, hitting a chair twice and the leg of the person. All officers on the scene are on leave as the investigation continues. And taking the top spot in consumer loyalty, CHI Memorial Hospital Chattanooga was recently recognized at the 2018 NRC Health Symposium in California for earning the #1 ranking. Other hospitals in Tennessee that made the top 100 include University of Tennessee Medical Center in Knoxville and Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville. The Sean Hannity Show, weekdays from 3 to 6 on Nooga Radio. Val St. John for Nooga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
Let's face it, Old Faithful isn't as faithful as it used to be. Constant repairs are a hassle and can rack up quick in money and time. Landers McClarty Ford can fix that. Right now, you can get a 2016 Ford Focus, 34,000 miles, only $11,491. A 2017 Chevy Spark with only 17,000 miles for less than $12,000. A 2015 Volkswagen Jetta with less than 21,000 miles for $11,991. Yeah, browse their entire inventory of new and new-to-you cars, trucks, and SUVs online at Landers McCarty Ford of FortPayne.com. Landers McClarty Ford of Fort Payne. If you can't find your next perfect ride, they'll go find it for you. Big city selection, small town prices, friendly service, and top dollar for your trade. The savings are waiting and only a short drive away, so what are you waiting for? Get started with your personalized shopping today at Landers McClarty Ford of FortPayne.com.
Nooga Radio.
Roar into Talladega.
Hello? Who am I speaking with? Eric, you're our winner. Really?
You'll receive tickets for all 3 races between the Camping World Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and the Monster Energy Cup races.
Holy cow.
In addition, you'll receive a 2-night stay at the Microtel Hotel and restaurant accommodations at 2 area restaurants.
Nooga Radio.
Roar into Talladega.
Nooga Radio.
92.7.
Your NASCAR racing station. Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
I got my business up and running, and it's already expanding. I got lucky. Lucky because I found Signal Voice and Data. Signal Voice and Data can incorporate all of my business information sharing and communications seamlessly, keep my costs down, and let me work more productively with endless connectivity no matter where I might be. That's called working smart, not hard. Go to signalvoicetn.com and bring the future of communication to your business today. signalvoicetn.com.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga Roofing Contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com for Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, a roofing company you can trust.
Hey, Karen, you need me for that 1 o'clock?
Yes, Cheese, please. Karen, did you get the quarterlies done? Yep, they're filed in the cabinet.
Karen, can you describe the initiatives to the new hire? Thanks.
Oh, sure. Full-bodied, some floral notes, maybe a hint of dark chocolate.
Am I in the right department?
Got wine on the mind? Come unwind at Virgola. Italian wine, oysters, caviar, cheeses, and more. Perfect after work or a romantic date night. Virgola Italian Wine Bar, 608 Georgia Avenue.
Man, you sure you know what you're doing?
Yeah, I worked with my dad on his truck all the time. Just one more bolt to go.
Yeah, wrong bolt. Today's truck ain't your daddy's truck. For repairs on today's vehicles, you need Amco Transmission and Total Car Care of Chattanooga on Lee Highway. Stay on the road, not in the garage. Amco Transmission on Lee Highway. Get it done the right way. The Thompson Pet way. Yeah, I just put that anywhere.
Now, Rick wants you to buy on U.S. Gold American coins. Are you tired of making 1% on your investments with the banks? Even 2 or 3% at best? Now, Rick wants you to buy on U.S. Gold American coins.
Rick Davis Golden Diamonds, Brainerd Road. Chattanooga weather.
Expect a muggy start to your Tuesday with some morning sunshine. Another hot and mainly dry afternoon out as well. Highs up around 90 tonight. Lows only 70 to 72 for Wednesday. A few widely scattered afternoon showers and storms. Highs into the upper 80s. Scattered showers and storms more likely Thursday. Tired of the pressures of car shopping? Come see what more people are making the short drive to Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC in Lafayette or online at jacksongm.com. That's Jackson Chevy Buick GMC in Lafayette. And I'm Source 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Moore.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
Oh, Lord have mercy. So much going on in the city of Chattanooga. People are depressed. We're oppressed. We're pressed on the sides, from the top to the bottom. The community members are doing the work, and the leaders are nowhere to be found. Or, in my experience, talking out to both sides of their mouth. And I think that a lot of people out there, hopefully not my listener, I'm going to pray it's not my listener. There are a lot of people out there who continue to make excuses for the Chattanooga Police Department. I am not with that. Now, during the commercial break, because we're going to talk about this briefly, and then we're going to get into another topic. Mike, who calls in quite often, I'm going to start calling him Mr. Constitution. Mike, who calls in often, is from Philly. His father was a police officer for decades in Philadelphia, coming up during the civil rights struggle. And he said that in 35 years, his father never fired his pistol, never even removed his pistol from his holster. And that his father wasn't a police officer. He was a peace officer. And part of the things that I talk about consistently on my show is we have to reframe what we say and how we think about things. And then we have to be real. My uncle says, if you can't be real with yourself, you can't be real with God or anybody else. Can we be real? Can we be real and say that it is absolutely ridiculous for the Chattanooga Police Department, which gets more money than our fire department? The Chattanooga Police Department, which gets more money than our fire department, and firemen have to go through twice as much training than police officers have to go through. They get more money than the fire department, probably on less calls than the fire department. Why do we keep making excuses for the Chattanooga Police Department? The Chattanooga Police Department has had people die in their custody. Family never gets answers. Part of the organization I belong to, Concerned Citizens for Justice, which is the reason we even have a city council. Yeah, Brown versus the Board of Commissioners. That's Chattanooga history, folks. I'm dropping gems on you if you never heard it. Brown versus the Board of Commissioners. Look it up. Google it. The women who started Concerned Citizens for Justice because their own father died in police custody at the hands of the Chattanooga Police Department in 1983. They're the reason we even have a city council. We have to acknowledge the history. The young people like Angela Moore, who is currently serving a life sentence for a crime that he did not commit, was beat and coerced into giving a confession by Officer Michael Wanger, and records and evidence that would have exonerated him was suppressed by Captain Edwin McPherson. That the corruption and the official misconduct is not just the beat officer, but it reaches to the highest ranks. That even this current police chief stated that no women had come forward in 2015 and had expressed or made any statements saying that they were raped by the same Chattanooga police officer who would later rape another young lady. And that turned out to be a lie. It reaches all the way to the top. That's why we cannot give passes. Now, how is it that the Chattanooga Times Free Press found the supposed evidence, but the police chief doesn't have it? And will go on record saying that it never happened. And that turned out to be a lie. And we aren't in high alert. Yes, there are maybe a handful of good officers out there. But the challenge that I have to the good officer that may hear this or ever tune into my show is when you see these things happening, what is your response? What do you do? Do you just continue to let this go on because you need to keep your job? And by keeping your job, that means even when you see things that are wrong and the citizen whose rights have been infringed upon and abused gets steamrolled over, that you'll hush and keep quiet because that's the only way that you can provide for your family. And that means more than people being abused. We have to acknowledge, because I got family from the North. Yes, I got family from the North. I got family from outside of the United States. This is a lot of this is a Southern thing, a Southern attitude, a Southern problem. As far as the concentrated efforts and the concentrated instances that continue to happen. This is a Southern thing. I don't really see this really happening in such great concentration in other parts of the country. It might happen here in one place. It might happen somewhere else in another place. But I never see it so concentrated like I see it in the South. And we got to ask ourselves, why? How does this happen? And be real about it. And then we got to start pressuring these folks who begged us to hire them in the form of city council, city mayor, county commission, and county mayor. Now, we're going to transition to another topic because I'm really about to be on one in just a second. Now, another article that came out is a federal bill that is looking to help some tracks here in the city of Chattanooga, a federal bill supposedly to right the wrongs of areas that don't receive any investment from the city. And it was quite interesting because the main picture of the article looked like these $2,000 condominiums, $2,000 a month condominiums. And then I started reading the article. Let me just say this before I continue on. Readers, those who read are those who lead. And we ask ourselves, I can almost guarantee you why a lot of people don't know what's going on in the city of Chattanooga in the form of leadership. I can almost guarantee you, if you were to ask them what they're reading, you will probably get very little answers. People who lead are often people who read. Reading is fundamental. And if you want to know what's going on, pick up a book and pick up the newspaper. You'll find it. I'm telling you, it's always right there in plain sight. We don't have to go far to find out what's going on. Pick up a book and pick up the newspaper. A lot of what's going on is not new. It's not new. It's been happening, and they've been talking about it. Now, we have abated $26 million, and we talked about it last week. We talked about pilots and TIFs. That Hamilton County has currently 50 pilots, more than any other county in the state of Tennessee. Even though we're the fourth largest county in the state of Tennessee, we got more pilots going on. And for those who don't know what a pilot is a payment in lieu of taxes, meaning that usually at a 10-year minimum, I'm going to allow a large business to come in, and I'm going to explain it in a real way. I'm going to allow a large business to come in and shut down small local businesses and the hopes and the prayers and the dreams that if I write it into an agreement that they sign and lawyers sign and all this other kind of stuff, and I put in a clawback revision, that the idea is that they're going to come here and we give them a large tax break. They're going to open up shop and provide jobs for the community. Now, if you want to find out some more information about that, it's atmchat.com. I said .org the other day, and I apologize for that. It's atmchat, A, Alpha, T, Tom, M, Money, Chat, CHATT.com, which was put together by Helen Burns Sharp. Shout out to her. She is my neighbor. And you can find out about current pilots, TIFs, and a lot of information, surplus buildings. Now, the federal bill is looking to impact local census tracts. And so what that looks like, the priorities were, and if you're not from Chattanooga, I'll try to explain where these areas are so you know what I'm talking about. The Innovation District, which is the EDNI, which is kind of interesting. That is the top area that supposedly needs help, but I don't understand that because we have spent a lot of money in the Innovation District over the last decade. I don't understand how that area is a top priority. Well, I do understand. Let me not lie to you. I do understand because it's interesting enough. The EDNI is the building that the mayor is trying to push. I don't even know where that's at. Was trying to push the city council to turn that into a surplus building so it could be sold. Interesting. That would be the top area where we would receive federal funding to invest in. Y'all see how the game works? I'm telling you, all you got to do is open up a book or look at the paper and you will find the clues. The second was Lincoln Park, which we have been trying to desperately save. It is appalling that in 1887, Chattanooga was a city of Negroes, and we do not have one. We do not have one historical Black neighborhood in the city of Chattanooga. And as a matter of fact, Lincoln Park is turning 100 this year. They're having their centennial anniversary, September the 17th in Lincoln Park. And y'all need to hit up Tiffany Rankins and the Lincoln Park Neighborhood Association for tickets. They're doing one day at the Bessie Smith and the other day at the park. All right. We've been trying desperately to keep the Citico extension, the Central Avenue extension from blowing through the neighborhood and obliterating it any more than it already has been. And it's been a tough fight. I'm telling you, Tiffany Rankins took me on a walk a couple of weeks ago. And I never even knew. And part of this is because we're not told this stuff. I had Tom on here a couple of weeks ago, and Tom's going to have to come back. Given the Native American history, some of us didn't even know that we had Native American history in Lincoln Park. that there was an altar that was there from the Native Americans who inhabited Lincoln Park prior to any African Americans. And so between the Native Americans and the African Americans, we have a soul tie in that neighborhood. But Anthony Byrd wouldn't tell you that, because maybe people would be interested in fighting to ensure that the $2 million doesn't just go to the green space, to the park itself, but that maybe we would be pushing as a community to ensure that that would become a historic neighborhood so nothing else can happen to it. That has yet to happen. So Lincoln Park, and the third area is the West Side. Y'all don't know where the West Side is. That's right around the corner from where the Chattanooga market is. It's prime real estate. But there's a housing project, one of the last housing projects that we have in the city over there. It's riverfront property, absolutely beautiful. And I'm sure for somebody somewhere, it will be an absolute great place to have some expensive condominiums that we couldn't afford. That's the last area where they're looking to have an investment in. And folks, let's be real. So the person who submitted this information was County Mayor Coppinger, who just won again for another term. Do we see that this is the same person who's responsible for a lot of the pilots that we have here locally as well? Do we see the game? So if we can't gentrify the areas with our dollars, let's get some federal funding to gentrify these areas and get some things accomplished. You better believe that if we receive any federal funding, that it's not going to be to help the people who are in these areas. Well, we already know the first area that it's going to is the Innovation District. That's not an impoverished area, folks. Now, there's plenty of poor people downtown, but that's because the city has kicked them out of other places where they've tried to stay. Let's be real. I'm telling you, folks. Now, the interesting thing about this was the story was on a comrade's page on Facebook. And I see a comment from Councilwoman Coonrod. Y'all pray for Councilwoman Coonrod. On the inside, she means well, but I don't understand what it would take for Councilwoman Coonrod to just make a firm decision on being solely for the people. And in particular, when it comes to those rooms that we're not in particular, when it comes to those meetings we're not privy to, the people whose hands she shakes that we don't know about. I keep telling you, it's nothing personal. It's just business. I'm not even worried about the other people, because my thing is that if you want to talk, be careful what you say, because you can't take it back. She makes a statement about the NAACP in which she later says that I didn't understand the statement, but whatever. I don't understand when it comes to anything that we need to do in this city, how the NAACP would come up in the conversation at all. The NAACP does not have any legislative power. That power belongs to the body and the institution in which we call the city council. And so how does the NAACP come up in the conversation at all as some responsibility because they've done work over the last couple of decades in the United States, or maybe they've done some things here in the city of Chattanooga? I didn't understand, but I said I would rather address what you have the power to do that the average person does not have. Because when I was at city council last week, I asked three things. Number one, how do we end up getting a new city attorney without any community involvement, especially when the city attorney lied to my face telling me that the statute for open record says I have to request them through the online portal, when the statute actually says that I can request them, and you as well can request them in person for inspection with the exception of a redaction, which means get you a Sharpie, black out the officer or the person whose information I'm looking to inspect, black out their personal information, make a copy, hand it to me, send me on my way. But would rather have me kicked out of City Hall and lie to me and tell me, even though I had the statute pulled up on my phone, that there's only one way that it could be requested. Liar. That's a lie. Second thing, where is the Chattanooga Police Department on the rape allegations? And have they dropped any of the charges that remain against Diana Watt for defending herself and refusing to be arrested for something that she did not do? She did not commit any crimes. And interesting enough, the charges against her weren't even the reason why they pulled her over. And number three, why haven't we collected $26 million worth of taxes from these companies locally that have participated in pilots? I got all of them answered with the exception of the money. She didn't address or ask the council to address herself the question of money. So gets on the Facebook page and decides to go back and forth with me about, well, the council is not a collection agency. Well, the people, and she would later redact the statement. Well, the people should be looking up this information. What? We hired you to do the work because you said you wanted to, and the rest of your homies on the city council wanted to do the work. And then when we start asking you questions, you not only do not have any answers, but then you put the responsibility back on the oppressed to find out the information as well. That makes no sense to me. But this is the type of situation that we get from our current representation. And folks, we got 2 years. We better get ourselves together. We got an opportunity in the next 2 years to clean house and to put proper representation, people to present our issues, our problems, and solutions. Because my question was not just for you to go shake down the trees and get the money that needs to be reinvested back into our neighborhoods, but why has this not even been an agenda item for our city council meetings every Tuesday? These are some hard questions, folks. Why is it that I got to know more than the people who you hired to do the job? I'm asking some hard questions, and it's okay. It's all with love. Y'all know what it is. If no one is taking the time to tell you that they love you, I love you. It's nothing that you can do about that. But folks, we got to get back to a constitutional republic and stop operating like a democracy. I'll be back.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Chattanooga police say an officer unintentionally fired his department-issued firearm 3 times, hitting a person who had just committed suicide. The incident happened Sunday morning. Police spokesperson says officers arrived telling the person who was acting suicidal to put down the gun. The person shot and killed themselves. According to the CPD release, the officer then accidentally fired 3 rounds, hitting a chair twice and the leg of the person. All officers on the scene are on leave as the investigation continues. And taking the top